Sam Darnold is out of the Big Apple. Steph Curry is going to be a Laker. And I completely agree with Stephen A. Smith's critique of Russell Westbrook. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Hot Button. I'm your host, Isaac Lane. And today we have a full episode. And I believe this is episode number 4. This is episode 4. You know, on the Hot Button, I try to release multiple videos every week. It's been about 10 days since our last upload, so there is a lot to cover. And we're just going to put it all in this one episode. Of course, we'll optimize it to where you can clip and skip to whichever part you want to listen to. And we'll also upload different clips of this episode. But this is the full episode. Episode number 4, I believe. Full episode number 4. And there is a lot that has taken place within the last 10 days. Where do we begin? You got Andre Drummond going to LA. You got Rondo going to the Clippers. You got Curry going to the Lakers. You got issues in the camp of Deshaun Watson, which we haven't even talked about yet. You got Paul Pierce out at ESPN. But, drum roll please, what better place to start than here? The Jets suck. That's where we're starting. The Jets suck. Now, I really want to say that again because I really want it to hit home. Okay? The New York Football Jets suck. Yesterday, was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. Yesterday, we received news that the New York Jets are parting ways with Sam Darnold. And there was only one team dumb enough to make a trade for Sam Darnold. And that was, guess who? Another team that sucks. The Carolina Panthers. And let me just say, this segment right here, this opening segment, was supposed to originally be about how suckish the Panthers are. And how stupid it was for them to trade anything. I don't even want to, who gives a crap what they traded? The fact that they traded for Sam Darnold. This is what the segment was originally supposed to be. It was supposed to be about how sorry the Panthers are. I mean, you're going to cut ways with Teddy Bridgewater, who's proven that he can lead a team. He did a great job in and in the place of Drew Brees. And to me, he didn't do a horrible job. He hasn't done a horrible job with Carolina. I mean, he's doing the best he can with the sorry personnel they're giving him. I mean, for crying out loud, his stud running back was hurt the majority of the year. But anyway, that's what this original segment was going to be about. It was going to be about me going absolutely ape, you know what, on the Carolina Panthers. But then I got a text message, I got a group chat message from one of my cousins who calmed me down. And he said, this trade is not about how sorry the Panthers are, which they are. This trade just simply reveals how suckish the Jets not only are, but have been. So this segment, we're going to focus on the New York Football Jets. Jets suck. Here's what Jets teach us, man. Jets teaches us something that we all know, but they just clearly reveal it, man. Poorly ran organizations produce bad teams. Produce bad teams, man. They produce bad teams. The Jets organization is the worst in all of football. That's it. There is no other organization in football that's worse than the New York Jets. Had to catch my tongue. I almost said a Sunday school word. They're horrible. Let me just say, Jets are the worst franchise in the NFL. And they are running neck and neck for the title of the worst franchise in all of sports. To me, they're running neck and neck with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers is a piss-poor organization. Piss-poor organization. They didn't deserve LeBron. They didn't deserve Kyrie. They didn't deserve Drummond. They didn't deserve anybody. They suck. It's just horribly ran organization. But the Jets are right there, neck and neck. You want to hear something that reveals the incompetence of your leadership? Something that reveals the fact that you suck from top to bottom. And when I say the worst franchise in sports, I'm not talking about the personnel necessarily, right? Because once you get to a professional level, to me, there's no such thing as a sucky team personnel-wise. They're professional. The reason why they suck is because they have, maybe just right at above average talent for the level of play that they go against, level of competition that they go against, plus sucky coaching, plus horrible front office, GM and owner. Here's why the New York Jets suck in all of that. This is the only statistic that I need to throw out to prove my point that the Jets are the worst NFL franchise. Since 2012, the New York Jets have cut and or traded 8 first-round draft picks. Are you kidding me? And during these 8 years, the Jets have sucked. And they've cut and gotten rid of 8 first-round draft picks. I can't make this up. I'm not making it up. As a matter of fact, you'll see. I'm going to put it on the screen. You'll see it on the screen. 8 first-round draft picks have been cut or traded. Talk about casting pearls to swine. I said earlier in a video, my video breakdown of Matthew Stafford versus Matt Ryan, and I said that, giving your draft picks to Detroit Lions is like, casting pearls to swine. I take that back, and the statement is true, but I want to replace the team. Giving draft picks to the New York Jets is like casting pearls to swine. I mean, it doesn't matter who's going to be the coach, I don't think. It doesn't matter who you're going to put on the field. This organization sucks from top to bottom. When the top sucks, it really doesn't matter what you put on the field. It really doesn't matter who you got on the sidelines. This is a horrible organization, and somebody needs to say it. You know what the Jets should do? They should just go ahead and they shouldn't sell it. They should just give it to Gary Vaynerchuk. Just give it to Gary V. Give it to Gary Vaynerchuk. Give it to him. He says he wants it. He's a mogul. Unlike who's ever running the Jets organization, he knows what he's doing. I think he'll do a hell of a lot better job than whoever the heck is running the Jets organization right now. We're going to keep them nameless. But the Jets are the worst organization in football. And, I don't think it wasn't a bad idea for them to get rid of Sam Darnold. It was a bad idea for any team to trade for him. I mean, Panthers, do you really think Sam Darnold is better than Teddy Bridgewater? Teddy Bridgewater has proven he can win games. What time is it? We're still waiting on that with old Sammy. And don't give me, he in a different culture. Hey, the Panthers aren't too far behind the Jets, okay? It's not like they got great personnel. And give me a break about this Joe Brady crap. I'm still waiting to see how he's all of a sudden the ninth wonder of the world. So yeah, that's that, man. I saw this trade and I was just like, I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted for two reasons. I can't believe the Panthers could be so stupid. And then I can't believe that the New York Jets could be so wasteful. The New York Jets are the worst franchise in the NFL. Judge your mama. I'm serious. Which leads me, I was thinking, this leads me to another topic, which is in the same vein. When we think about NFL franchises, I put together a list of the four most disappointing NFL franchises today. Not the four worst. If we're talking about the four worst, then the Panthers are on that list. The Jets are on that list. The Jaguars are on that list. But not the four worst, but the four disappointing. Okay, what's the difference? Worst simply means, man, you just suck. You suck on paper. You suck in the front office. You suck everything. You don't have it. You just don't have it. You're not there. You're not there yet. That would be if we did a list of the worst NFL franchises. This is a list of the four most disappointing NFL franchises. Which means that we're talking about franchises who look good on paper, had what we thought to be a good or solid front office, but they woefully disappointed. Not able to get over the hump. Not able to knock on the door of the playoffs, or not able to bring home the Lombardi Trophy. Here are the four most disappointing franchises in the NFL. And this list reveals something very critical. What makes a franchise disappointing is the leadership. Leadership on and off the field. That's what makes a franchise so disappointing. You have an incompetent GM and owner, or you have a quarterback who just can't get you over the hump. Perfect example is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The quarterback comes, the culture completely changes. Completely changes. You say the same thing with Sean McVay when he came to the Rams. Culture changes. Now everybody is expecting the Rams to win, to be in playoff contention, to play deep in the postseason. Your NFL and even in NBA, LeBron just tells us that leadership is the unspoken, game-changing quality of sports organizations that we need to talk more about, man. Kobe Bryant won his final championship off of his leadership. On court, off the court, his leadership for that team. Go back and look at those stats, man, for his last championship. Go back and look at those stats. It wasn't nothing to write home about. Wasn't nothing that's going to go down in the record books. His leadership. Tom Brady, leadership. And these four teams come down to leadership, both on the field and off the field when it comes to the front office. Top four most disappointing NFL franchises in the NFL today. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have had some stud players, man. Minnesota Vikings, Culpepper, Dante Culpepper. They had the running back Smith. They had Chris Carter. Then they had Chris Carter and Randy Moss. And they disappointed us because they were not able to get over the hump. They weren't able to secure the Lombardi Trophy. They weren't able to really consistently compete deep into the playoffs. Number 3, the Chargers. The Chargers have had some really good football teams, man. Antonio Gates, weren't able to do much with him. but put up stats. They got rid of Drew Brees. Oh, gosh, how stupid that was. They had Father Time for God knows how long. Phillip Rivers. They weren't able to go deep in the playoffs. Weren't able to make Super Bowl runs. Then they had LaDainian Thompson, and they just weren't able to win. It's disappointing when you put a product like that on the field and you can't come away or even come close to coming away with the Lombardi. Disappointing. Number 2, and I really wanted to put these guys number 1 because I can't stand these guys. But I'm just being, got to be honest, got to be true, got to be, objective, whatever. The Falcons. As much as it pains me to say this, there haven't been too many years in the last decade to where you look on paper and say, man, the Falcons suck. Of course, I'm going to say that because I'm a Buccaneer. But in reality, man, the Falcons have had some pretty good teams. The Falcons have had a spoil of riches offensively for a while. Matt Ryan throws for 4,000 yards every season. It's like in his sleep. Julio Jones is freaking Julio Jones. I mean, when they had Coleman and Freeman and they were clicking on all cylinders, you can't tell me that the Falcons don't have a solid team. They have a solid team. They have horrible ownership, and they have a quarterback who's not clutch. I don't know how the hell he earned the title Matty Ice. I mean, it's not like he won anything at Boston College. Yeah, he's got ice in his veins. He freezes. When it's time to rise to the occasion. They make the list because not only have they lost every Super Bowl they've been in, but they make the list because you had the GOAT pinned. You had him pinned. What was it, 2018 Super Bowl? Up 28-6, dude. And you lose. I mean, you lose that Super Bowl, man. We're talking about the freaking Atlanta Falcons. You're in Atlanta. Atlanta is like the mecca for arts and entertainment. How the heck don't you have a Super Bowl? Like, that's so disappointing. You got so much talent. Don't tell me you don't have defensive talent. You got talent on both sides of the ball. Whatever. You got the talent. You're just not able to get over that hump because you suck at the top with leadership. And your quarterback sucks when it counts most. He's great if we're talking Pro Bowl. He's great if we're talking stats, if we're talking But when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, Matt Ryan comes up short. Therefore, the Falcons come up short. Which leads us to number 1. In my opinion, the most disappointing franchise in the NFL. The Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. Oh, don't give me that look. It's the Detroit Lions. For 3 reasons. Really 2, but I'm going to squeeze in the third one. Barry Sanders. Quit. Calvin Johnson. Quit. Matthew Stafford traded for Jared Goff. Let's start with the GOAT. Let's start with Barry. Barry Sanders ran for over 15,000 yards, did it in 8-9 years. I mean, the creme de la creme. And this organization known as the Detroit Lions would not give this guy a freaking offensive line. If you gave the Cowboys offensive line to the Detroit Lions, not only would Barry Sanders have played for 15 years, he would have ran for close to 30,000 yards. Yeah, and blew every record, blew Emmett out of the freaking water. But since the Detroit Lions weren't competent enough to surround this guy with talent and an offensive line, he waved bye-bye to the game. Same thing with Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson got sick and tired, sick and tired of getting smashed in the mouth and not making deep runs into the playoffs because the team just refused to put the necessary pieces around him. Then we get to Matthew Stafford, who when his career is all said and done, he's going to have the stats to go to Canton. But since you can't put anything, since the best thing you could put around him since Megatron left was Golden freaking Tate, he's out. The Detroit Lions are the most disappointing team in the NFL. I mean, just imagine if they would have did right by Barry and really built that team around Barry the way they needed to. Just imagine if they would have really built a solid team around Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. They would have definitely won at least one Super Bowl. They would have won one. They would have won one. But horrible leadership at the top produces crap on the field. Let's switch it up. Let's talk basketball. The deadline was, I believe, on the 25th of March, and some moving and shaking took place. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't think they got better. Hell, they already you can't go up any higher. You got the three that they had: Kevin Durant, James Harden, and that crazy boy, Earth Flat guy, Kyrie Irving. I mean, so to me, the two biggest stories at the trade deadline, and when you add in the buyout market, are the Lakers and the Clippers. I want to talk Andre Drummond versus Rajon Rondo. Who was the biggest pickup? Who was the most needed signing? Let me know in the comments. Andre Drummond or Rajon Rondo? Here's what I think. It was without question, in my opinion, Rajon Rondo. You want to know why? The Clippers didn't have a point guard. The Clippers didn't have a point guard. As a matter of fact, go look at my video. It's called "The Clippers Need a Point Guard." It's easy to find. I put it on the screen. It's easy for you to find. And I made that video right after they got they got blitzed by the Pelicans. They got blitzed by the Pelicans that game, not just because Zion Williamson is unstoppable, but because they don't have a floor general. Have you seen the Clippers play basketball? Since they put together these two players that were supposed to be so clutch, Pandemic P and Mute Mouth. I mean, Kawhi Leonard. Have you seen them play? Of course, they're great in ISO. They're great in what they do. They can put claws on you, put clamps on you, play good defense. But their offense has absolutely no rhythm. Man, when they get down, they get lost. So they needed a point guard. You want to know how bad they needed a point guard? Reggie Jackson was technically their point guard. The dude averaged 9 points and 2.9 assists a game. I don't care about the 9 points. 2 assists? And this your point guard? Without question, the Clippers came out with getting who they needed to get. Kawhi Leonard told you, we need a point guard. When the playoffs were over, we need a point guard. That's what we need. How do the Clippers respond? Well, they let Montrezl Harrell go, leave the basement and go upstairs to the pretty shiny team called the Lakers. And they sign Serge Ibaka. But there could be a problem with this. Because although I think he will bring a sustained flow, I think when the playoffs come, he'll really, begin to show, his basketball IQ will be able to mesh well with Pandemic P and Kawhi Leonard. I really do. But there's an issue because Rajon Rondo is not a bucket. Lou Williams was able to get you buckets. And you got rid of Lou Williams. Where your buckets going to come from? And then another thing is, Rajon Rondo is good. He's that deal. Yeah, playoff Rondo is real. But have you guys noticed LeBron makes everybody look good? Just saying. Just saying. We'll see how good he looks in the playoffs this year. But without a doubt, I think they won between the two. They definitely had that as a need, as a point guard. Andre Drummond definitely fulfills a need for the Los Angeles Lakers, but I think the edge goes to Lakers as far as team fit and need. However, Lakers in 6. Because no one on the planet, not even the Monstars, can beat a healthy LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and now Andre Drummond. Nobody. The only team that could come close are the Brooklyn Nets. That's it. That's it. So that goes to Rajon Rondo. Now, staying in the vein of basketball and talking about the Lakers, there was a report that came out earlier this week talking about the possibility of Steph Curry teaming up with LeBron James in Los Angeles, becoming a Laker. Here's my take on this. When I heard it, I laughed because I'm like, no. And from kind of what we know about Curry, it doesn't seem like he's that dude, although he did get KD. Although, reports say it was more not Andre Drummond, but more of a Draymond Green recruiting him. But nevertheless, he wasn't opposed to Kevin Durant coming. So he's played on super teams before. And the more I thought about Steph Curry in a Lakers jersey, the more it won me over. And not just because I want to see him play with LeBron and, and who wouldn't. But really because of him and the trajectory of his career, what it could do for his career. Steph Curry should definitely entertain becoming a Laker. Steph Curry is a man of faith. His family is a man of faith. His family are people of faith. His wife, they should definitely go on a fast this offseason. They should fast, and they should pray, sackcloth and ashes, and they should really ask the Lord, what would be best. What would be best? What would be best? Because this is not something to just sleep on. Because if Curry's got chips on his mind, he needs to entertain going to the Lakers. And I'll give you 3 reasons why. Okay? Reason number 1. Steph Curry should entertain becoming a Laker because he'll never win another championship in a Golden State Warriors uniform. That day is over. It's over. The Splash Brothers are drowning. You could even say the Splash Brothers have drowned. You can't trust Clay in his injury. Draymond Green has just gone backwards offensively. He still can do what he needs to do defensively. You can never really build anything around Draymond anyway. You can't trust Clay with his injury. If you're Steph, you can't really trust yourself. You've been nicked up a lot. Your supporting cast sucks. When you went to 4 straight finals, you had a great bench. You were known for your rotation. That does not exist right now. He will never win another championship in a Golden State Warriors uniform, which leads us to point number 2 on why he should entertain becoming a Laker. Nobody cares what Steph Curry does if it doesn't include championships. I don't care if he makes 23s in a game. That's the double-edged sword of being a champion, especially a multiple times over. Once you're like the 3-time champion, we don't care. We want to see you win it again. Or at least be in it again. After Jordan won 2-3 chips, nobody was watching to see what he did and see if he made the All-Star game. No. They want to see this guy get chipped up again. Want to see him get chipped up 3 more times. We want to see Steph Curry in the finals. That's where we want to see Steph Curry. We want to see Steph Curry playing in the finals. And there's no way he's getting to the finals if he stays in Golden State. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Especially as the West is constructed now, man. You got Dame. You got the Jazz. You got the Phoenix Suns, man. You got the Lakers. Don't sleep on the Spurs, man. Buddy. He cannot win another chip as long as he is in Golden State. And nobody cares what he does if it's not related to championships. I mean, I think he's doing an okay job with his shoe deal with Under Armour, but I mean, who cares about his shoes if he's not winning championships? Nobody. Number 3, Steph Curry should entertain becoming a Laker because it's his best shot at beating Brooklyn Nets. Let's just say something happens, right? Aliens come from above and snatch all of the powers away, all of the basketball powers away from every team in the West besides Golden State. And Golden State somehow makes it out of the West. And they're playing, don't get it twisted, don't fool yourself. The Nets are going to represent the East multiple times over. They play the Nets in the finals. Even if they get to the finals to play the Nets. Nets in 6. It's not going to happen. Maybe even 5. They might even sweep them. It's not going to happen. If you're Steph Curry, you have to be thinking about championships. And if you're thinking about championships, you have to understand that the biggest hindrance to you getting a champ, well, you got 2 hindrances now. Since you're not a Laker. If you're a Laker, your biggest hindrance to getting the championship are the Brooklyn Nets. If you're not a Laker and you're in the West, the biggest hindrance to you getting the championship are the Lakers and the Nets. So you got to deal with the Lakers. And just if some freakish happens and you get past the Lakers, you can't get past the Nets. It's not happening. So if you have any dreams on winning another championship, Steph Curry, I'm not saying you should just do it, just sign. But man, you need to entertain what it is you want to do. And you can hear from his press conferences, man. He's not happy with losing. He's not happy with losing. He's not a Russell Westbrook. Yep. I totally agree with Stephen A. Smith's critique of Russell Westbrook. I think Stephen A. Smith gave responsible commentary. I mean, when did we become so freaking soft? So we can't say nothing about you now? Nobody can say nothing about you now? And the moment, have you noticed that? Cam Newton did it. Cam Newton did it with the kid. Not saying the kid was right, but we just see at the camp, but we just see this pattern. The moment people begin to attack your product, your game as an athlete, you go straight to your pockets. We know you rich. Yeah, what that got to do with anything? Okay. Maybe that would be maybe that would be something worth talking about if how deep your pockets were putting you in position to win more basketball games, but it ain't. Nobody's above critique, man. Yes, you're a beast. You're a walking triple-double. Great father, great husband. He said all these things. But he said, you ain't winning nothing. You ain't won nothing. What the heck is so wrong with that? I agree totally. For one, I'm sick of watching Russell Westbrook. If it's not, I was about to throw up watching him play in the playoffs. Almost every time he's in the playoffs. Same thing with James Harden. To me, James Harden's a quitter. To me, James Harden's done. I mean, the playoffs. I remember that one year, just was sitting down. Good year to play Golden State, man. Just when he was in a Rockets uniform. It's just, man, these guys are different when they get in the playoffs. They're different in a bad way. And Russell Westbrook can't get it done. Russell Westbrook has been blessed with not only freakish talent, Russell Westbrook has been blessed with some great players, man. Serge Ibaka, Paul George, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul. I mean, the list goes on, man. The list goes on. This dude has been blessed with some great talent, and he's not been able to get the job done. I think he's been to the finals one time. And all Stephen A was saying, and I agree, we want to see you on the biggest stage. We want to see you on the biggest stage. We don't care. I personally don't care if you get 3, 4, 5 triple doubles back to back. After you've reached this point in your career, man, where all your peers is, for the most part, is playing deep in the playoffs, man. So what? That's like child's play. And then it really irks my nerves when you get mad that we say we want to see you win championships. Oh, now championships don't matter. Oh, boy. And he ain't the only one. Dame, you on the hot seat, too. We want to see you in the finals, man. You ain't got to win it, but dang, we want to see you. We want to see you on the biggest stage. And I don't think there was anything wrong with what Stephen A. Smith had to say about that. All right, I want to talk about a topic that I've been kind of avoiding because I have strong opinions on it, and we don't have all the facts, very little facts. But now I got to say something. 22 accusations now, 22 lawsuits, sexual assault against Deshaun Watson. Don't know details, but let me tell you what I do know. I do know that it smells funny. It smells funny for 2 reasons. Number one, it smells funny because it just has that aroma of being black in America and biting the so-called hand that feeds you and the repercussions that comes behind that. And along with that, what do I mean? Lean close. Deshaun Watson revealed how suckish the Texans organization really was. He wanted out. And he was vehemently against returning to play quarterback. I believe B-Hop Hopkins, D-Hop Hopkins, used to be the receiver for the Texans, now plays for the Cardinals. He came out, I believe, with a tweet saying that Deshaun Watson is very serious about holding out. Not only does it, and we know, if you've been kissed by nature's son, if you got melanin, we know how that feels. We know how it feels to have that proverbial hand trying to come and slap you back and put you in your place. Once you've kind of overstepped what they deem is your boundaries. And keep in mind, we're talking about the same owner who said we can't have the inmates running the prison. So I just want to throw that out there. And the second reason why it smells funny is because of the timing. It comes right before the draft, right kind of in the thick of the offseason, man, right in that free agency mix. It just really is really funny, man. And there was a report that the lawyer that's bringing these allegations is actually friends with the owner of the Texans, and that many of these allegations are almost a year or more old. And now, all of a sudden, while Deshaun Watson wants out, you drop these, man? Just don't smell right, bro. Just don't smell right. And I want to compare his situation to Chad Wheeler. Chad Wheeler, that scum of the earth, former offensive lineman for the Seattle Seahawks. Basically committed attempted murder on his girlfriend, Aaliyah Taylor. And here's why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because it needs to be brought up. He's a scumbag. He needs to never play again. He needs to be suspended indefinitely with no chance of appeal. And I have an issue with it. I have an issue with ESPN and all that stuff. Because when these allegations hit about Deshaun Watson, till this day, I'm getting notifications from ESPN, different sports network. Notifications. They're covering it. They're covering like wildfire. Covering. We don't know if he even did it. There's no evidence. There's not even sufficient enough evidence to bring charges yet. And we're talking about, and casting him in a negative light. Meanwhile, Chad Wheeler almost killed his black girlfriend. And I can count on one hand how many times news networks, sports networks have covered this story. That's to me, that's an issue. To me, that is a huge problem. That's a narrative problem. That's a narrative problem wrapped in a racial problem. Without question. Judge your mama. Without question. And I had to stop and think and ask myself, what if Chad Wheeler was black and his girlfriend Aaliyah Taylor was white? Let your mind wonder. What needs to be what's already understood doesn't need to be explained. So, those are my feelings. That's exactly how I'm feeling with the Deshaun Watson issue. And Chad Wheeler should have been immediately kicked out of the NFL. Immediately. Banned forever, for life. So, we've come to the end of the show. I wanted to end with talking about a little college basketball. Very briefly. I'm not a fan of college basketball. And some of y'all might not like this take. Oh, well. I'm not a fan of college basketball. To me, it's sloppy. For the most part, it runs low on talent. And I actually rather watch women's college basketball and the WNBA. But there are some good games you can catch occasionally. Shouts out to Baylor. They dominated the NCAA Basketball National Championship. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about college basketball and versus LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball versus college basketball. It's not being talked about enough. LaMelo Ball sidestepped the NCAA, got in the NBA, and is the Rookie of the Year. Do I need to say it again? LaMelo Ball sidestepped the NCAA, got in the NBA, was a top pick, and is the Rookie of the Year. I don't get why we need the NCAA in order for these kids to make it to the NBA. And here's why. The NCAA does not major in player development. They major in money. Money and entertainment. That's it. You want your kid to actually become a better basketball player? What's the point? College basketball is not going to do that. Oh, you think I'm crazy? How much better was Zion Williamson at the completion of his senior year in high school versus the completion of his freshman year in college? No difference. Because it's not about player development, it's about the money. And I know they're finna go back on the rule. We're letting the kids go straight to the league. I think that kids, unless they want to go, they want to make the 3-4 year commitment to get an education. Why go to the NCAA when Lamelo Ball has given you the blueprint? Go overseas, make some money, play 1 year, get drafted, and make more money. Especially since the NCAA don't want to pay the players, and they want to hog it all for themselves. Take it into your own hands. Listen, I'm all out of time, but I'm never out of commentary. Thank you for joining the Hot Button, and now I'll holla at you.